Or are we the only ones?
You are. Hi, Anne. Hi, Stephen. Hi, other wealth makers
Hi there.
out
Hi,
there.
Mandy.
Oh,
Hi, Anne.
yay, we've got a voice. We've been talking to you, Stephen, and you haven't had a voice.
Now I do.
Now you do. We're actually talking about the water situation in Cape Town.
I
But,
know I got a big message.
did you?
Long message.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to give everybody else that kind of information. We're live now. So I'm going to launch right into our topic for tonight by Eric Worre. It's his book. It's him reading it. And if it seems appropriate, I'll stop it and the three of us can have a little discussion. And if it doesn't, I'll just let it run. So let's hear from the master himself. Sorry, I'm going to have to go back again. I'm going to have to share my screen again because I pressed the wrong button. Oh, goodness. We've gone to the wrong place. Hold on. There we go. Can you see that or not? Can you still see the spreadsheet? Can you see? Oh, okay, good. Let me carefully move down here. There we go.
Network Marketing Pro is proud to present the national bestseller, Go Pro, 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional, read by its author, Eric Worre.
I remember the day I was introduced to network marketing for the first time. It was January 1988. I was 23 years old and selling real estate for a small company owned by my father and his friend, John Joyce. I was newly married with a little boy. I was already behind on my bills and I was scared. The year before, I had earned about $45,000 in real estate commissions, which was a good thing. The problem was that I'd spent about $60,000 and didn't save any money to pay my taxes, which would be due in just a few months. When John Joyce came to my desk that day and said, "Eric, I think I have a way for us to make some extra money," I said, "Tell me more." He went on to say a good friend of his had something to show us and had invited us to his house. So I got in the car with John and my dad and drove over to check it out. When we arrived, he brought us into his living room, popped a tape into his VCR and hit play. I sat and watched this crazy video. It was filled with mansions and limousines and testimonials of people making fortunes virtually overnight. It was so over the top, I just couldn't believe it to be true. So I proceeded to tell everyone I thought it was a bad idea and I wasn't interested. My natural mental filters just couldn't let it in. Then something interesting happened. John and my dad said, "Okay, that's too bad, but we're going to do it anyway." This had a major impact on me because the only thing worse than being broke and in debt was the thought of seeing these two go on to make huge money without me. So I changed my attitude, pulled my dad aside, and asked him if he'd loan me some money to sign up. Thank God he said yes, because deciding to become a network marketing distributor completely changed my life. When I got started, I treated my business like most people do, which is to say I didn't treat it like a business at all. I got in, made some phone calls, and hoped my timing and positioning was enough for me to get lucky and make a few bucks. And at first it worked. I did make some money, and it was very exciting, although I have to disclose something to you. For those first few months, my entire strategy was to quickly call all of my dad's contacts before he had time to get to them. I thought if I called them, told them my dad and John Joyce were involved, and got them to a meeting or to watch a video, then if they were interested, my dad wouldn't fight over who got the credit, since I was in his organization. I had limited success with this, but as you can imagine, it didn't last long. So 3 months after I got started, my network marketing income dried right up. And when it did, my positive attitude completely went away. I started to blame everything and everyone for my lack of success. My upline wasn't giving me enough help. The company didn't provide adequate training. I didn't know enough people. No one would respect me because I was so young. I blamed the product. I blamed the company. I blamed the economy. I blamed everyone but myself. But I had a big problem. Blaming the world wasn't helping to pay my bills. And I'd walked away from real estate after that first commission check. It was going to take too long to get a real estate commission, and I had no college degree, so getting a decent paying job was out of the question. The only place I could go to create some cash flow was back to network marketing. So I put my head down and went to work. At first, it wasn't easy. In fact, in my first 3 years, I rebuilt my organization 7 times. I'd build it up and it would crash, and I'd build it up again and it would crash over and over and over again. After those first 3 years, I was more than discouraged. I'd almost lost hope. Then something happened that changed my life. Actually, it was a combination of 2 things. It was the night before a company convention, and I was watching a news program on television. They had a guest who was an expert on a topic I can't recall now. What went through my mind was, how does a person become an expert on that topic? The only thing I could think of is they must have decided to become experienced, learn everything they could, read every book, talk to every other person, and learn it so completely that they became an expert. The next day, I went to the company convention and watched superstar after superstar walk across the stage. And then it was like being hit by lightning. It finally clicked in my brain that if I truly decided to do it, I could become an expert at network marketing. I could focus on the skills. I could practice until I became an expert, and no one could stop me. Up until that moment, I was always looking for an angle. I was hoping to get lucky. I was hoping to sponsor that one superstar who was going to change everything. And I was scared I would lose my chance if it didn't happen soon. In an instant, everything changed. I realized I didn't have to worry about getting lucky. Timing and positioning were nice, but not necessary for my long-term success. I didn't have to worry about my upline, knowing the right people, or anything else. All I had to do was become an expert. So I decided that day to change my focus and develop the skills to become a network marketing professional. It was a day that changed my life. Since then, my life has been an amazing adventure. Network marketing became a career for me. I have complete time freedom. I've met the most amazing people around the world. I've been able to touch and be touched by the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, travel all over the world, contribute to the causes that are important to me, and most importantly, become a better person in the process. All of this happened for me, and it can happen for you too. In this audiobook, I'm going to give you the fundamental principles that can guide you to becoming a network marketing professional. They've served me well over the past few decades, and I know they'll serve you just as well. Welcome to an exciting adventure.
Okay. Hi, Renee. Hi, Rico.
Chapter 12, it's all worth it. Network marketing can be challenging. It's an emotional experience.
Hold on.
The ups and downs can be dramatic, but in the end, for so many reasons, it's all worth it. The career you'll create. If you decide to...
Okay. Okay, so we heard the introduction. Hi, Adam. Any kind of things that stood out for you in the introduction? I've unmuted you. Oh, no, hang on. I think Stephen's still muted. Kind of clicking the unmute ball. Adam's still muted. Try and unmute yourself, Adam. Oh, there you go. I've unmuted you, I think. No, I haven't. Okay. Right. So, yes, anything that really stood out for you in the introduction? Hi, Renee.
You're asking Adam.
All of you.
For me, it's a decision you have to make. Come to a point in your life where you have to make a decision, and then from there, just apply yourself in that direction.
Okay, decision is really good, because I think decision means commitment. And I think immediately make that decision, one thing changes from what it was to what it's going to be. So I think I agree with you. Decision, really, really important. Anything else stood out for anybody?
I think likewise, but I think it's that it's so easy just to keep saying, well, you know, I can't do this, or this is not my field, or that kind of thing. And then my upline's not giving me enough information, or, you know, they're not coaching me enough or mentoring me enough, or, you know, whatever. But the way he describes it is you actually have to make that decision and become the expert yourself, and take on that full responsibility, rather than using every other sort of crutch, as it were, to get you through.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're saying, you have to take personal responsibility. Got to stop blaming everybody else. It's really cool if you have a great mentor. It's really cool if everything falls into place. Very cool if lots of people want to do what you're doing, but it doesn't always work out like that. So I think when we blame people and we blame circumstances, we lose control, because it depends on the circumstances or the people getting it right for our lives to work. But when we take control and we take responsibility, it's actually much more centering, much more up to us, which we regain the control. So I think I agree. Not blaming everybody else, but taking our own responsibility to become experts. And I think in this particular industry, you know, we're all natural at being friends and sharing. Hey, you know, didn't you enjoy that? I had amazing fish meal at that restaurant. You should go and give it a try. Or Adam, I went to Barleycorn. You should go and listen to the music there. We're selling all the time and we're sharing all the time. But suddenly, when it becomes part of a job for us, you know, we lose the naturalness, and we forget that we are actually experts at it. So it's really nice having someone like Eric Worre, who's kind of like we can identify with because he went through some of the same things, to help us kind of get back on track. I know for me as a psychotherapist, I thought, oh no, this is about relationships. I'm going to be good at this. But I was hopeless, and I have been hopeless. But over years and learning from a lot of mentors and going through a lot of training, obviously, I hope I've improved a bit. But the nice thing is it's a learning curve. Whether we're succeeding or failing, we're learning. And if you have the right attitude and keep the right excitement, you don't quit, and you make that decision to be an expert, I think you're well on your way. One thing that stood out for me was right at the beginning when he said, oh no, this is too good to be true, I'm not going to do this. And then his dad and the person who showed him the opportunity said, well, it doesn't matter, we're going to do it anyway. Then there was that fear of loss, that fear of missing out, that sort of kicked him into gear. And I think that's something that creates a sense of urgency when we share this with other people. When we say, okay, given you the opportunity, shared with you some info, I'm going to do it anyway. Suddenly they think, oh my goodness, I might lose out. So it's quite a motivating factor when you say, okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wanted to add something, Adam?
I just caught the last part of his talk. I missed the first part.
Okay.
But I've learned a lot from what he was saying, and how he got started, and the fact that he's not particularly a professional, you know, to start off with.
Sure.
It was interesting that he learned as he went along. He learned his skill.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Kind of makes it hopeful. Like we don't have to start off as knowing it all. We can start off as nincompoops and kind of learn as we go along, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hear what he has to say in chapter 2.
Chapter 1. Network marketing isn't perfect. It's just better. Do you feel restless? Do you feel unsatisfied? Do you feel there must be a better way when it comes to your work and the way you make your living? The good news, there is a better way, but it's different than what you were taught in school. Let me explain. As I travel and speak around the world, I like to play an audience participation game. I ask people to help me create the ultimate business and to tell me specific things they'd like to have in that business and the things they'd like to avoid. It always makes for a very interesting list. If we were face-to-face, I'd do the same thing with you now, but since we're not, let me summarize what people from over 30 countries have told me while creating what I like to call the perfect career list. People usually start naming things they don't want. No boss, no commute, no alarm clock, no employees, no politics, no compromises, no discrimination, no educational requirement. And then as people start to use their imagination in a more positive way, they start to visualize some positive attributes. Something positive, great product or service, unlimited income, residual income, enjoy the people you work with, time freedom, something meaningful, personal growth, lots of perks, international, contribution to worthy causes, low risk, low startup cost, economy proof, tax benefits, fun. Now you might add some attributes of your own, but wouldn't you agree that's a pretty good start? Imagine being able to enjoy a career with those attributes. All jobs that I know of fall into one of 5 categories: blue collar, white collar, sales, traditional business ownership, and investing. Blue collar careers. Here's the Wikipedia definition of blue collar. A blue collar worker is a member of the working class who performs manual labor. My definition is somebody who labors to fix something, make something, clean something, build something, or service something or someone. In my life, I've worked many blue collar jobs. And for anyone who's ever engaged in this line of work, there's a certain satisfaction in a job well done. But here's the big question. Can blue collar work deliver on the perfect career list? The obvious answer is no. Sure, it can deliver on some of the attributes. It might have a great product and a low startup cost or any number of other individual items on the list. But if you really look at it, blue collar just can't get you where you want to be. Not the perfect career. White collar careers. Here's the Wikipedia definition of white collar. The term white collar worker refers to a person who performs professional, managerial, or administrative work, in contrast with a blue collar worker whose job requires manual labor. Typically, white collar work is performed in an office or cubicle. My definition is a person who's employed by someone else to do work other than manual labor or sales. Many people choose a white-collar career as it's one of the most socially acceptable of the options available. It has long been viewed as the safe and secure option. Recently, that's changed. The implied contract that if you're loyal to the company will be loyal to you is long gone. I've also been a white-collar worker in my career. In my experience, there are 2 types of people who do this type of work: achievers and hiders. Achievers are the people who want to perform at a high level. They are ambitious, motivated, and energetic. They are full of ideas and want to move up the corporate ladder, which are great attributes to have. But there's a downside for the achiever. The moment a person decides to be an achiever, they become a target. Their boss sees them as threatening to their job, so they start to hold them down or take shots at their reputation. Their peers see them as a person who will either embarrass them or keep them from getting a promotion, so they start to do what they can to undermine their accomplishments. So to remain an achiever and survive in this hostile environment, a person must become good at one thing that has nothing to do with their productivity, and that's politics. They must learn how to navigate the political world by diminishing their enemies and strengthening their relationship with powerful people. In fact, some of the most successful people in the corporate world aren't achievers at all. They're just pure politicians. So if you decide to work in the corporate environment and to be an achiever, you must accept the fact that you must become a good politician also. Now let's talk about the hiders. These are the people who hate politics but still need a job. They learn not to be the ambitious achiever. They don't stand out. They don't speak up in meetings. They don't bring new ideas. They hide. They keep their heads down and do as they're told. They do just enough so they aren't talked about negatively. They survive. And this has worked for decades. But in the new economy, it's becoming much more difficult to hide, and people are running out of time. So back to our perfect career list. Can a white-collar job deliver on the list? Again, the clear answer is no, certainly in not very many areas. Sales. Some people choose to get away from being an employee and get involved in a sales career. This is certainly more adventurous because typically salespeople are paid on their production instead of by the hour. I've known thousands of salespeople. There's a common theme I've noticed over the course of my career. The typical salesperson will have a period of time where everything goes perfectly. Everything they touch turns to gold, and they make some really good money. As soon as that happens, they almost always set their lifestyle to that level of income. They buy a new house, get new cars, put their kids in better schools, purchase a vacation home, the works. Everything's great for a while, and then something changes. The company changes the compensation plan. Their territory gets reduced. A competitor shows up. They lose their best customer. The economy goes into recession. New technology makes their offer less valuable, or government regulations change their industry. These are just a few examples. There are hundreds more reasons why the salesperson's world could and probably will get more complicated. When that happens, with the big lifestyle they've developed, now 40 hours a week isn't enough to pay the bills. So they go to 50 hours a week, and then 60, and then 70. And then their life gets very small. Yes, they have the stuff, but they don't have the time to enjoy it. The other challenge for the sales career is no matter how a person does, they still start at zero the next day. It can be tiring to live under that kind of pressure over a long period of time. Can a sales career pay the bills? Sure. But can it deliver on the perfect career we described earlier? Again, the answer is no. Traditional business ownership. Some people opt for the big dream, building their own business where they're the boss and they call the shots. It's an exciting idea, isn't it? Here's the reality for most people. Step one, they use their life savings, take on new debt, and many times borrow money from friends and family to get started. Step two, they take on more debt in the form of leases and personal guarantees in just about every direction. Step three, now instead of focusing on what they're good at, let's say they were great at sales and decided to start their own business, they have to be all things to all people. They act as attorney for legal matters, accountant for financial matters, babysitter for employee matters, negotiator for purchasing matters, and collection agency for accounts receivable matters. They even get to take out the garbage. They're doing everything but selling, which is what they were good at in the first place. Step four, they struggle. Instead of owning the business owns them. They're the first person to work and the last person to leave, and after everyone else gets paid, they might be able to take home enough money to pay their own bills, let alone reduce the debt they incurred to start the business in the first place. Step five, they succeed or they fail. They either hit a point down the road where the business is successful or they fail, many times filing for bankruptcy and falling back into a corporate or sales job. And even if they are successful, that usually means a lifetime of long hours and stress. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? If you haven't started your own business before, ask friends who have if this description isn't accurate. Most people who start their own traditional business aren't worried about getting a return on their investment. They just want a return of their investment. It's pretty clear that traditional business ownership can't provide the perfect career as we've described it. Investor. The last category of ways to earn a living in the world today is to be an investor. And what do you need to become an investor? Money, right? If you don't have a lot of money, it's going to be very difficult to earn a living from the return on your investments, especially if you try to be conservative to reduce the risk of loss. But let's say you do. What's the next thing you need in order to be a successful investor? You need to have incredible knowledge and skill. I know more people than I could count who were skillful real estate investors over the years. But when things radically changed in the real estate market, their skill couldn't help them. They lost big. Would you like to invest in someone's traditional small business? Good luck. In most cases, you won't be an investor. You're more likely to be a philanthropist. How about the stock market? People do great there, don't they? A few do, at least from time to time. But I know more people who've lost than have won, especially in the past decade. It's very difficult to have guaranteed returns when you're not in control. And trust me, as an investor, you are not in control. Anything can happen, and it can happen overnight. Let me tell you a story to illustrate that point. In late 2001, I was living large. I'd sold a company I co-founded and was working as a very highly paid consultant. For my part of the sale, I received approximately 170,000 shares of stock in the new company. It was publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange and selling for about $44 a share, which meant the value of my stock was around $7.5 million. I had a big income and a great portfolio. Life was good. I used part of the stock to secure a home construction loan of about $2 million for a dream house I was building. As for the rest, I didn't diversify because I knew the company was in great shape with a good product and an amazing sales force. Then something out of my control happened. Overnight, the stock went to $37 a share because a group of investors had targeted the company and shorted the stock. In other words, the lower the stock price went, the more money they'd make. I thought it was ridiculous because the company was doing great. So I bought some more shares at $37, using my existing shares as collateral, knowing the price would go back up. It went to $33. I bought more shares. It went to $27. I started getting margin calls, which meant if I didn't send them money, they were going to start selling my shares to cover the losses. I didn't have it to send. The stock continued to go down. It went all the way to $10 a share. And my 7.5 million was gone. Poof. All in less than 90 days. Now the stock eventually came back and the company was taken private for $65 a share. But I wasn't there to capitalize on it. I was wiped out. Could I have been smarter? Sure. Did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But here's the lesson. If you're going to be an investor, you have to accept that things will be taken out of your control from time to time. And when that happens, it can be very expensive. So back to our perfect career list. Can being an investor deliver on that list? I don't think so. We've talked about blue-collar work, white-collar work, sales, traditional business ownership, and investing. And none of them can deliver on our perfect career list. So is the perfect career even possible? The answer is yes, but to get there, you need to understand that everything is changing. The old models of compensation are dead or dying, and we are going through the biggest economic shift in any of our lifetimes. The new economy, the world as you know it, has changed. For the people who don't recognize that fact, it will be the worst of times. For the people who do, it will be the best of times. Over the last 100 years, an interesting phenomenon occurred. The rise of the corporation became the standard in society. The safe and respected place for people to exist in the world was as an employee. Step 1, go to school and learn how to be an employee. Step 2, find a company that will employ you. Step 3, work for that company for 40 years. Step 4, retire. In recent decades, the promise of being rewarded by the company for your loyalty and hard work has been exposed as a myth. People began to realize the loyalty they were giving to their company was not being given in return. So a different process evolved. Step 1, go to school to learn to be an employee. Step 2, find a company that will employ you. Step 3, switch companies for various political or economic reasons every 3 to 5 years over the course of your career. Step 4, find that you can't retire comfortably after 40 years, so you keep working. And now we're going through the biggest shift in any of our lifetimes. For a century, companies have paid people by the hour, by the week, or by the year. That's changing on a global level. The world is moving towards a performance economy, and it's already happening. Here's what that means. In the future, you're only going to be paid for performance. You won't be paid for your time anymore. Servers in the food industry already live in this model. They get a very low hourly wage required by law, and they make their living through tips based upon their performance. If you can imagine the same model being applied to virtually every job in the world, you'll see what's coming. The person cleaning the rooms in a hotel won't be paid by the hour anymore. They'll be paid by the room. For office workers, here's an example. A person has a $60,000 annual salary. Step 1, the company will lower that salary to something like $50,000 because with today's marketplace, there's other people who will take the job for a lower amount. Step 2, they'll reduce their base salary to something like $20,000 a year. Step 3, they'll tell that person that they can get an additional $30,000 over the year if they hit certain performance benchmarks on a monthly basis. In other words, if they hit their numbers, they can make an additional $2,500 a month. Now the pressure's on and the company's loving it. If you don't hit your numbers, they can save even more money. If you do hit your numbers, guess what's in your future? They're going to raise your requirements. Unless you are extremely specialized, this will happen to you if it hasn't already. Count on it. And it will happen in every single profession worldwide. The evolution has begun. Why is this happening? 1, it's a better model for the company. They'll get better results with less expense. 2, the new economy needs fewer people, so the company has more people competing for fewer and fewer jobs. Let me explain why the new economy needs fewer people. The exponential rise of technology has changed everything. Over 100 years ago, 90% of the population worked in agriculture. Today, because of dramatic efficiencies, it's less than 1%, and the farming jobs are gone. Remember customer service call centers where you talk to people? Today, you talk to a machine, and those jobs are gone. Remember when companies had a massive amount of salespeople? Now people order online, and those sales jobs are gone. Remember Blockbuster Video and all of its employees? Now people watch movies on their handheld or tablet devices, and those jobs are gone. I love books, but go to your local bookstore while you can. They'll be history soon, and so will the jobs provided by those stores. I could go on and on through virtually every work category in the world. Technology and efficiency are eliminating jobs every single day, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. In fact, it's only going to accelerate. If you're sitting there waiting for the economy to bounce back and for jobs to return, don't. They aren't coming back. Just like the children of farmers saw the handwriting on the wall and left farming for new vocations, the same thing is happening for people working in old economy jobs. To survive, they'll need to open their eyes to this reality and find something new. Network marketing is better. The best way I know to not only survive, but to thrive in the new economy is network marketing. There are important products and services in the world today that need to be promoted to the people who need them. Consumers still need to be educated. Companies have choices. They can dive into the ever-fragmented world of advertising to get the word out. They can hire a large and expensive sales force to sell their products or services, or they can utilize network marketing to tell their story to the world. More and more, companies will choose to use network marketing because it fits the new economy. They can provide all the corporate support and paid distributors on a purely performance basis to promote their products. It's extremely efficient because in the new economy, word-of-mouth advertising continues to work better than any other form of promotion. The company can just take the money they would have spent on advertising and promotion and pay it to their distributors to spread the word. What that means for you as an entrepreneur is that you can receive all the benefits of traditional business ownership without the typical risks. And there will be no cap on your income because network marketing companies want you to make as much as possible. If you're going to be paid for performance anyway, why live with the cap? The catch to network marketing. This all sounds great, and it is. But there's a catch that most people won't tell you. Here it is. You must accept a temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. That means for a while, people still living in and trying to function in the old system will think less of you. They won't understand. They'll think you're crazy for being involved in network marketing. And actually, the word accept isn't completely accurate. You need to do more than that. You need to embrace the temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. You are seeing the future before it becomes apparent to everyone else. You are the smart one. You are the person taking action to live a better life. There's a reason why people will think less of you, and it's not just because they're stuck in the old system. Let me see if I can help you better understand this, because if you decide to make network marketing your profession, it's important to know. Most people have either joined a network marketing company or know someone who has. This is what goes through the mind of virtually every person who decides to get involved. I can think of 5 or 6 people who might do this too. My sister would be great. My friend loves this kind of thing. I know this other person who'd be amazing. Okay, I'll join. In other words, they aren't joining a profession. They're just hoping to get lucky. Sign up a few people to cover their own startup costs and sit back and wait for the money to roll in. The allure of being paid for someone else's efforts is powerful, but often badly misunderstood. They haven't started a real business. They just purchased a glorified lottery ticket. Imagine a lottery ticket with 6 scratch-off spots. Those spots represent each of the people the new person thinks will certainly join. They approach those people and try to get them to join. And because of their lack of skill, most of them end up with nothing, just like the lottery ticket. This becomes just another lost opportunity. And since they've acted in unskilled ignorance, they may have damaged some friendships as well. So they rip up the ticket. And instead of taking responsibility for not really starting their business, they blame network marketing and make sure to tell the world, look, I've been there. I've done it. I talk to every person I know. And network marketing just doesn't work. Save your money. That's what you're dealing with if you choose this as a profession. The opinions of ignorant people who think they've done it right and it doesn't work. If that's going to be too hard to handle, then network marketing isn't for you. But if you can embrace it, the world is yours. The people who embrace this get paid big money. Companies will pay unlimited amounts to people who can help blind people see, who can educate the ignorant, and who can build a community of like-minded people. Some people like to say perception is reality. I hate that saying. All great leaders in the world have ignored it for centuries. What if Nelson Mandela had said perception is reality? What if Martin Luther King Jr. had said perception is reality? What if Steve Jobs had said perception is reality? The great leaders of the world said reality is reality, and I'm going to do everything possible to help people understand that fact. The truth is, network marketing isn't perfect. It's just better, and that's reality.
Okay, I like Eric Worre says it how it is. So, what do you, if you're willing to share, what do you like most about network marketing, and what do you find most challenging?
Okay, I'll speak. It's Anne. I think I always think that I'm not a network marketer. I'm actually I find it very easy talking to people, but I have that feeling that I can't sell a product. The thing I like most about the idea of it is that you actually are your own boss. You don't have to follow the politics of an organization or a company. You can step outside that zone completely.
Okay.
I think.
Can I ask you, Anne, what do you think about selling? What is selling to you? How would you describe selling?
It feels to me like it's. I think what he said about you must accept the temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people is quite strong, because I think that's how, in a way, I see salespeople in inverted commas.
Okay.
That,
they're kind of thought of in a negative way.
They're thought of in a negative way. They're selling you bullshit, to put it mildly, you know.
Okay, so basically, selling gets a bad name because
exactly.
Sometimes people have tried to sell you absolute rubbish, and it hasn't been what you've wanted, and you felt like it's being pushed on you.
Exactly. And so you put up a wall against them and say, I'm not going to go there. So
okay, and you kind of like want to walk on the other side of the street if you see them.
Exactly, and I think this is a mental shift, isn't it?
Sure.
Between what salespeople per se do and what network marketing does. I think there's just you just have to change the perception of how you approach it.
Yeah, I think you got to change the perception in your mind and also in your behavior. Yeah. I think if you can shift to, I think I prefer sharing to selling. Absolutely. So I think the very first important thing about selling or sharing is relationship. Because it's no use telling somebody or sharing something with somebody if it's not a good fit, if it's not going to be valuable to them, if it's not going to change their lives. So you're not going to know that unless you have a good relationship with somebody. So as soon as you have a good relationship with somebody, then you can understand what it is exactly that they need. Once you understand exactly what they need, you can decide, is what you're offering them going to be a good fit? You know, I think we're fortunate in terms of cryptocurrencies, because just like we have fiat currencies and nobody lives without using dollars, rands, euros, it's just foundational to life. So cryptocurrencies are the future in terms of an alternative to that. So it's kind of like everybody should be doing this. But if people are needing an extra income, it's easier to approach them if you know why they're needing that extra income. Is it for building a house, like Adam? Is it for doing a dream project, like me? Is it because they're so tired of working flat out and they never see their family? What is the reason? Because I think as soon as you know that you're going to be meeting somebody's needs, it shifts. It's now no longer you pushing something on somebody because you need the money. You are sharing something with somebody because it's a great opportunity for them to improve their lives. So I think if you can shift to understand selling or sharing in that kind of way, it's so much easier because it's just relating and being normal and just sharing with somebody something that might help whatever it is that they're trying to achieve in their lives, or something that's a big need in their life.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it. Thank you.
Pleasure. I learned a lot from somebody called Scott Ross, who's an amazing leader in another network marketing company. And one of the things I remember him saying is that all leaders are great sellers, or everybody who wants to be a leader should be great at selling. And he was kind of saying all of us are passionate about something. We want to change the world in some kind of way because we really believe in something. So whether we're selling a product, we're selling an idea, whether we're sharing, changing from being broke or in fiat currencies to being part of cryptocurrencies and future currencies, selling should be something that's going to improve the world and improve somebody's life. And I always found that very valuable, that kind of perception. Okay, thank you, Anne. Anybody else have anything they like about network marketing or find challenging?
I'm going to be honest, I don't like network marketing, but I'm attending these training seminars because I want to actually personally develop myself more and more than I had in the past. I was very lacking in social skills 20, 30 years ago. And I see this as a very positive opportunity to help myself to, let's say, engage people in a more positive way than before. And if it does lead indirectly to bringing more people on, then that's just a bonus. But at this point, I've already made attempts since 1996 in network marketing, so I haven't been very successful in that. And it's not because of the system. The system does work. It does, when you apply the rules, but I'm just one of those that, let's just say this, I've tried. The main reason why I've involved with Lifestyle Galaxy is because of the cryptocurrency. That's what I believe in.
Sure.
Adam didn't really have to sell much to me. I already had believed in it, and that's why I'm essentially involved here.
Okay. Stephen, first of all, thanks so much for your honesty, because that takes courage. And I think you're not alone. I think a lot of people don't like network marketing because of the perception that it has, and also because it's tough. And I think it's tough for the very reason that you want to improve, is that it takes relating. It takes relating to all sorts of people, all sorts of circumstances.
Yes.
It takes following up with people. It takes not being pushy. It takes really understanding and getting to know yourself and getting to know other people. So in that way, it is quite a challenging industry. And I know for myself, and I think even Eric Worre said after trying to rebuild his business for 3 years, he suddenly got it. He needed to learn some skills. But I know even for myself as a psychotherapist, so I've spent almost 30 years in my own personal development so that I don't impact negatively on my clients. I think that I have learned and grown and developed more as a person through the training and the trainers and the mentors in network marketing, and the process, the process of going out there and sharing this opportunity with other people, than I have in all those years of being in my own personal therapy or personal development thing. So I think you're definitely going to get what you're looking for. And well done for embracing that, and well done for keeping on trying. Well done.
Well, if I can get to a place where I've developed my social skills, then yeah, that's, even if I didn't reach any financial targets, which would be nice to have, but that in itself would have been worthwhile.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't want to be a better friend, a better mother, a better father, a better grandparent? I mean, we all want to have meaningful relationships. So we all want to know how to relate. Yeah, I think that's a great thing, a great objective. Okay. Any other things that people, anybody likes or doesn't like about network marketing?
I like the fact that it teaches us to relate better to other people, because that's a skill we need in everyday use, everyday life.
Absolutely.
We need that skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's not just for the work; it's for everything else. You need relating skills.
Exactly. So it's not just for this specific business; it's for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's what makes it interesting, learning the skills through all these training videos. Because I think the last guy really explained it really well. He really put across the different job types really well. So I'm learning a lot from the videos.
Yeah, no, I think you mean Eric Worre, when he described all the different job opportunities. And so often we go into network marketing, think that we are like the least favorite job. But actually, when you look at all the benefits of it, it's actually the most favorite job. It's just that it's not something we learn at school, is it? It's not something we learn at university. So people aren't familiar with it, so they don't really know what it entails. But when he describes it in the comparisons in the way that he did, I agree. I mean, who doesn't want low startup salaries? Who doesn't want that kind of potential to earn way more than you would be able to do on your own? Who doesn't want the kind of freedom? Like for me, what I love about it is I can work anywhere in the world. I can live and work anywhere in the world. So I love that kind of freedom. I mean, who doesn't want a residual income? Sitting on the beach and you're still getting paid. That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
You know, helping other people reach their dreams so that you can reach your dreams. And, you know, low risk. I mean, if you think about it, all we do is buy a mining package and the company organizes everything else. They do all the admin, they buy the equipment, they move it to the States. People in the States do all the hard work and we just collect the benefits. I mean, what kind of job do you go where that happens for you? That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think definitely, although it is challenging in terms of learning how to relate this to other people and learning to communicate it, but I think learning to relate and communicate is just generically challenging. Relationships are generically challenging to get it right. So it's so cool to be in such an amazing profession with so many benefits, and you're learning to grow as a person in all the other areas that going to generalize to every aspect of your life. Pretty cool. Okay, just so much thanks to Anne and Stephen and Adam for connecting in on this call. I really hope it's going to be really beneficial and a huge blessing to a lot of other people who listen to it. So huge thanks for your contribution and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye. Thanks a lot, Mandy. Thank you.
Adam. Bye. Bye, Steve. Bye, Anne.
Cheers, Mandy. Cheers, Adam. Cheers, Steve.